And here is the weather forecast for the week of August 28th. And before I tell you about the week, I'd like to share with you a question that I received from a viewer. He said, I've been watching your show for a couple of weeks, and I don't understand why you call it the weather forecast, because you never talk about the weather, Weather. Then I realized that it's the weather forecast, Whether, but I still don't understand why that's the title. That's a good question, Dad. And I'm going to answer it for you now and for anyone else who has the same question. It's called the weather forecast, Whether, as a play on the word weather, because one of the ways that astrologers support people is by providing an analysis of planetary patterns, past, present, and future, so that they can make a more informed decision about whether to pursue a particular course of action. Got that? But planetary patterns that astrologers interpret is not unlike the weather patterns that meteorologists analyze so that they can tell you whether or not you should wear a sweater or carry an umbrella. And because we have the technology, I thought I would show you what that looks like so that you can all better understand what we're talking about and what we're doing when we're looking at astrology. This pattern right here, which you guys have probably all seen on your local weather forecast. These are isobars. I didn't know that until just today. And it's these lines and squiggles and numbers and letters are a map of atmospheric pressure systems and temperature systems so that weather forecasters can tell you if there's a storm coming. And these patterns, this image, of course, is not static. It moves. And a few hours ago here in New England, that is what this thing that you're looking at now is what those lines on that graphic actually represent. So that's the WEATHER. Now, when you get into the astrology, how it is the same or very similar, this is the planetary weather now. If you were in New York at way too early in the morning on August 29th. And this is set to move in real time. I'm going to move it faster. This pie chart, the little blips in the pie chart are the planets, and the lines in the middle of this chart are representations of contact that is being made among the planets. And what I want you to watch and appreciate is that how quickly, if I move this up and animate it and move it forward just minute by minute instead of second by second, you can see, if you look at the middle of this chart, how these patterns change. And these changes, though small, actually make a really big difference. And so I'm going to make it go faster. We're going to change it every hour. And you can get an idea of how things are in motion, these storm systems. And I can move it even faster and change it for every day. And before you know it, if I can move it ahead by the week, and before you know it, we're looking at October 6th instead of August 29th. And I hope that visual image is helpful to you in understanding what we're looking at here. So the week, On Monday, which it is right now, the moon will enter Libra, now focused on resolving challenges with diplomacy, fairness, and a quest for balance. On Wednesday afternoon, the moon enters Scorpio, driving the next 2 days with a need to consolidate knowledge for the sake of power and control. This drive is backed by an expansive connection among Mars, which refers to action, Mercury, which refers to information, and Jupiter, which is the energy of expansion. This is a big week for big ideas and big action. And when I first looked at this week, I thought, wow, they could launch a rocket this week. And as it turns out, that's exactly what they plan to do on Monday morning. Stay tuned. On Friday night, see if you notice the shift as the moon leaves Scorpio and enters Sagittarius. And by shift, I mean a sense of relief at having escaped the sign of Scorpio and its need for emotional control. The moon in Sagittarius supports those who need to influence others with their righteous opinion. And in your own personal world, a weekend with moon in Sagittarius is a great time to expand your horizons. Go for a gamble in nature, take in a foreign film, or any other perspective that is outside your comfort zone. Now is the time to broaden your mind. That's the week. And as for the news, which everyone seems to be so excited about, what we had on Sunday, yesterday, the pattern that was exact was an opposition between Venus, which refers to women, money, aesthetics, and social expression, and Saturn, which refers to cuts and losses and depression, anything that is being streamlined, but also anything that is disciplined, as in ambition or authority. And so here is the New York Times. The front page photograph is a woman, Venus, and she's depressed. How do you like that? Unbelievable. And over here, last week, we were talking about the confusion over these documents that were taken to Mar-a-Lago. And this week, we're talking about obstruction, which is Saturn. And not only that, but we've got access to boosters is being scaled back, and debt, which is a Saturn word, is the plan has its limits. Another Saturn. So money, limits, Venus, Saturn. And just to show you that it's not just one paper, this is the Boston Sunday Globe, and their front page story, I don't know if you can see this, this is their Secretary of State described as a loner. I just think that's amazing. Venus, Saturn would be a loner. And astrology is amazing. And that's the weather forecast for the week of August 28th. And I'm your weather gal, Elisabeth Grace. Back to you in the studio, Allison.